Greetings, Patrick here from Have Cheetah Will View. 8 questions with, and yes, it's Sunday. You are not mistaken. It is Sunday afternoon here in the United States, and we are up and at it with another conversation. Today we'll be talking with our good friend and friend of the show, Rick Mallin. I know I have to say that now, Rick Mallin. Wow. And of course, we'll be talking to the screenwriter and the director, Chris Annable, of the film One Night Rental. Um, it's interesting. It's like I was thinking about when I started thinking about planning on doing the show. It was different because we all know Ricky as Ricky, old AF reviewers, a YouTuber, and that's how we know him. But now here he is. Now he's coming back onto the show, and he's a working actor. It's going to be a little bit different. It's going to be a different kind of interview for sure. I mean, it's not going to be the usual shenanigans because he is here and he is chasing his dream. He wanted to be an actor, and by God, he's done it. Um, And you, Chris, this is not only this is Rick's first movie, this is actually your first movie as well, right? Your first feature film?
Yeah, it's first one that's to be released. Yeah, I've done sort of stuff in the past student wise, but yeah, first proper film. But yeah, bit long in the tooth for that, but it's been 47 years in the brewing, so to speak. So yeah, I've had a bit of experience in writing in the past, but not directing, and that was a huge sort of kick in the ass when I first started doing it. I didn't realize how challenging that'd be. But I had a lot of good help from a lot of good people who have actually done quite a few films in the industry. So I know people go, "Oh, he shouted his name out again," but Dominic Burns was phenomenal. He's directed stuff like UFO, wrote Method in the Madness with Jason Mewes and Kevin Smith.
He directed UFO.
Yeah, directed Allies and wrote Method in the Madness.
The classic UFO series, right, with Ed Bishop?
No, the Jean-Claude Van Damme one. it's a Van Damme UFO film. You've probably never seen it. It was his first independent one. Yeah,
Okay.
Julian Glover's in it. So it's a bit Sean Pertwee. So there's a couple of big hitters in there. But Van Damme was the main one. But he's given me a lot of advice, which has been very, very useful.
Yes, isn't that nice to have an experienced hand? Because first time feature film director, it's a lot different from short films. I mean, short films, yes, you learn your craft. You learn your craft. You learn how to set up shots. You learn how to work with cast. You work on locations and all that. But that's like 10, 15-minute movies. It's like they're pretty short. But to do a involved feature length and with new talent on top of that, like you're not talking like walking onto the set and everybody's there's got loads of experience. There's a lot of people that you worked with that didn't have that much experience, and here you are. This is your first time doing it. You guys really found it together.
It sounds crazy.
It sounds crazy, but everything with a team, though, right? Anytime you have a team, yeah. And here comes our other gentleman walking in here.
Have you started without me?
Yes, look.
Well, we knew you were going to do one of those Hollywood. I'm Hollywood. I got to come in late type of entry. So I expected it. I told Chris, oh yeah, he'll pull one of those Hollywood ones. He'll be coming up on a stretch with a stretch limo here.
Well, I thought I'm 10 minutes early here.
No, well, you know what? You know how we go though. It's like as soon as someone comes through the door, I don't like make anybody wait in the basement. I gotta once you're here, we go. And but what's really weird though? I was telling Chris we're starting to talk about the movie a little bit. What I was telling Chris was the fact that it's so different now because before it's Ricky from the old AF, but it's not Ricky from the old AF today. Now it's Rick. And you are here promoting a movie.
Yeah, I'm using my Sunday name today.
Are you still drinking? What beer is that? So, okay, he might not escape this. What is that you're drinking?
Erlenbecker.
Okay, is that okay? See, he knew better than to bring that other shit on here because that just wouldn't have worked.
Budweiser is the king of beers.
Chris,
no, I don't know how, dude.
I'm gonna have, I bet when you auditioned, when you auditioned, how did you two meet anyway? I guess that's the first good question.
Okay.
How did you meet anyway?
So when we did the 80s video shot, a friend of mine, sorry, my phone's ringing. And Ricky came up to review it with which I didn't know, his friend, a friend that I went to school with, which called Richard Lamin, and he came and did a little review of the shop. I really liked it, and I checked him out. And I thought, this dude's off his fucking head.
And you right?
And then I just messaged him. I said, like, we're going to do a film, and I thought, he's very natural in front of the camera. And he sent me a short clip of the short film he was working on. I don't believe you finished yet, Rick. Are you going to redo that at some point? It's just natural in front of it. So, like, the part is kind of always Ricky's. It wasn't like written for anybody else, if you know what I mean. I thought he could play it really, really well. And he right. Again, without sort of kissing his ass, because I don't want to do that because it's airy.
You're so right though. He is a natural.
Yeah, he is definitely.
Definitely. Not wasn't surprised at all when he told me that he was shooting a movie. Was not surprised at all. It wasn't more like, and I knew it was going to be, it's going to be some weight to it. It wasn't going to just be a half-ass, Louisa Warren type of bullshit. It was going to be oh, did I say that? I don't know where that came from. Sorry about that.
Yeah.
Okay. All right. I'm just calling it as it is. All right. So I mean, I knew it was going to be a legitimate film, and then when Rick came over to me, he says, and we got Danny Thompson in the movie. And as soon as I heard that, I'm like, holy shit! He's locked himself inside a real set. He's in a real movie with like real movie star. That's like, it's like it's like winning the lotto. It's like, okay, and we're all very excited for him. I know I was very excited when he told me that he had got himself a role. I think when your acting bug got bit pretty hard when you and I were working with Kelly, when we got her Kelly, I think that's when is that when you started thinking about like, I want to do what Kelly's doing.
Yeah, I think so, because I put her onto a company who she got a part with, and then I thought I could do that for myself, so I did.
Yeah, that's somebody you'll probably want to use for your next role there, Chris. Just right, Rick. I mean,
yeah, definitely.
Yeah, she's really good, real good. Do you get a lot of did you get a lot of suggestions for casting, Chris? I mean, that when people found out you were going to be doing a feature-length film, did a lot of people start asking you for parts?
Not massively. I mean, I went after a couple of people, but it was well out of my reach. Where it's like this sort of levels to this game, so to speak. And it's like I went after certain people. I thought, that's what I reached. It's going to cost X amount of thousands of pounds. I already knew quite a few people that I wrote the roles for that could act, so that helped a lot, really. As far as people asking to be in it, it was mainly people probably asking to direct it, which ended up getting quite a few films sent to me to look at, and I think I've shared some of them. We're not going to, Ricky, don't mention them because it's a bit rude, but I've shared them. I think Ricky's seen a few of them, and that's when I sort of thought I'll give it a bash myself. I can't arse it up as much as that, so I'll give it a go. But as far as casting goes, it was never a huge problem. I think everyone fits in quite well for the character, don't you think, Rick?
I think so. Yeah, I think everybody's played a
everyone
good role.
Cast well, apart from myself, which is like obviously I wrote it and my character's in it, but I got someone else to play me, just because I thought he had a bit more presence and I've got more hair than me, so that was the main reason. I would say better looking, but he's just got nice hair, hasn't he, Bobby? So that's why I went for that one.
Yeah.
It's a bit manky.
I wouldn't say better looking, no.
Cheers, mate.
I'm actually looking at the IMDb page for the movie, for One Night Rental, and the first thing that jumps out to me is the fact that this probably was everybody's first film, other than Danny's first film. I mean, other than, as far as feature film goes.
It was my second.
Yeah. So because only you and Danny have your pictures on there, and generally when you see people with no pictures, no avatar, that means that they've only worked. This is their first film or first or second film. They haven't put up a picture yet, on the call list. So that tells you right away that this is a lot of first timers coming on board as far as acting goes. I'm sure the crew itself was probably more experienced, right? Your cameraman, your light, your graphic.
You know what? It's like, it'd be really cool if you watched it and then it sounds really bad because it's like backflipping a little bit, because to talk about experiences of sort of the crew and the cast, basically it's like really an intro to it all. But I believe, I mean sort of blowing smoke up anyone's arse, but Ricky, you've seen a really good cut of the film, haven't you? A really close cut of the film.
Yeah.
And we've seen other films, and it's like, I think that, I don't know, it's really hard to say this, but it's a cut above. Hopefully, it's just because it's someone's first attempt or first go at something, doesn't always necessarily mean it's going to be cheap and a bag of shit. Which we strive not to be like that. That's the main objective. Is it to be? Because I mean, as much as it's as most people's first go, we're all like getting on a bit. So no one's like going into it as like a teenager picking up a guitar for the first time or whatever and going to jam in a pub. It's kind of like, we know what's good and what's bad. So it kind of, that experience has served as well. I suppose Neil as well. Neil's been in bits and bobs. He was in a couple of episodes of Casualty and all that crap. But
he's a real life casualty at the moment.
Neil is a proper actor, but it's just about, we've known so many talented people. It's been quite handy, really. I suppose that's the way we. And there's no bits in it where I'm going, Jesus Christ, that delivery is wooden. I don't think there is.
Did you have a hard time working with the cast? I mean, were they, since they're all so new? I mean, like I said, a couple of bits on a show. Even if there are speaking roles, it sounds like to me he's probably extra background more than he was anything else. But the fact is, you got basically a brand new cast. I mean, it's brand new, and I can't imagine seeing you trying to juggle a brand new crew along with a brand new cast. I don't know anybody who could do that and keep their sanity. So I really don't. You mean I would be setting yourself up. That would be setting yourself up for failure if you had a brand new crew and a brand new cast that didn't have any experience. You had to go with one or the other, right?
Yeah, I mean, I've been. I've seen a few interviews around these sort of subjects. People say it went so well, and I can't say it didn't. Everyone's. I'm such good friends with most of the people that are in it, and Ricky knows how I am. I'll say pretty much anything's a go. It's like you can say what you like, and it's such an open set. I mean, everyone's so relaxed on it. I think I lost my mind once or twice. Would you say, Rick? When
I could see you getting stressed on a few occasions. Yeah.
I mean, the biggest problem was the biggest stressful was time. We had a couple of special effects things, and then some wardrobe went missing, and we had an hour to shoot something. So I punched a hole in a wall for that one. But it wasn't a very big wall, so it's not as if I punched a brick wall. And then the other one was Danny's.
I think William Friedkin is looking down at you right now, and he's smiling big. He's going like, hell yeah, put that fist in the wall.
But yeah, that was it. And then we found that. So that was. But then the other bit was the near the end scene, which is, again, it was all about, a lot of it was about timing. And Rick, you'll know this. That it relied on three people's timing. But to reset it took like a long time. It was cold. and we only had Danny for such a small period of time. So to get that shot right, it took 3 goes, didn't it, Rick?
Yeah, I think by the final go, we were all a bit on edge because we saw how fucked off you were getting.
It worked perfect. To be fair, it's probably one of the best scenes in the film. So I should have got a bit pissed about things more often because it was the best. Probably one of the best scenes in the film.
Well, now we know what to expect. Now anybody and all the actors that are hearing this, all these casting directors, they're going like, okay, next time we're gonna make Chris go insane for sure.
Yeah.
Okay, we already got some people in the we already got some people in the chat. According to our good friend, of course, our good friend Gareth is here. He says standards are slipping on this channel. Oh, is that how it's going to be? Okay.
Who's that, Gareth?
All right. I'm going to be asking a really nice question in Neil Marshall. Let me tell you, I got something special planned up for you, Gareth. Hi, Echo. Hope you're feeling better. He says it's not Ricky, it's sexy Ricky.
Echo.
It might be. Sci-fi scrap heaps. He says, did Chris tear out what's left of his hair?
He did.
Yeah, definitely. I'd pick it out my ears. It was that bad.
Let's see. Big Kahuna Derby. First goal was the best one in his opinion. So I think this is a member of your cast. I'm taking it.
Who is it?
Big Kahuna Derby. I don't know. Maybe
Kahuna
we can put
Derby,
your
who's
first
that?
name on it. Yeah, he says
What-
first goal was the best in his opinion.
Oh, the first one on that note. Well, yeah, it was a
I
funny.
reckon the first take he means for the
first take of that was a funny.
Right.
Actually, that made me laugh a bit. But then the second take was like, "Come on, guys,
So
count to 3."
So someone filmed you. Did someone film you putting your hand through the wall? Right. So that's in the movie.
No. That was in like a storage room when we were trying to find
a pair of shorts.
Trying to find a pair of shorts, and it's Neil's fault. So yeah, it was. Everyone was there. It's the first day, and everyone was there. We had a sort of a very strict, tight timeline.
I bet.
We couldn't find these shorts, and then we found them. But yeah, it was really because it was the first day on set, first day for me, and I want everything to go well. And one of the main part characters couldn't find his fucking costume, so it was like, yeah, we're in a world of shit here. For the first day, I want it to go really well, but it worked out in the end. And then obviously the end scene.
I gotta let people know too that this is a full-length movie. By the way, this is not a short film. This is a full-length feature that Chris and Rick and Danny and their crew and cast and crew put together. Which is not an easy thing to do for a debut. I mean, that's very, very hard. So I think it's just to be expected, and I can understand you putting your. I'm just glad you didn't break your wrist.
That sort of stuff.
I don't want to be.
It's kind of one of them things where you go, oh, that was really, really soft. It was just plywood stuff, so it didn't take much of a knock.
Well, you're lucky. It could have been a brick wall, and you would have been like this for the whole.
I'd have been proper done. Yeah, if I didn't think straight, I went like bang and like went straight through it. now,
Rick is laughing because Rick is laughing now because Rick himself has had a few of those moments on camera, and so he knows exactly what I'm talking about. Like when how you escaped serious injury.
Well, I've ended up in hospital, haven't I? But other than that, I've normally been okay. Nothing that a few bandages and band-aids won't put right, but
yeah.
Ricky, was it one of your food ones that made you go a bit doolally?
You heard about that?
Eating the Carolina Reapers. Yeah, I ended up in hospital. I was just shitting out pure blood.
So he told you about that, Chris.
Yeah, he told me, and then he tried to bring fermented fish on set one day. Can you remember that, Rick? And
nobody wanted to do it.
Yeah, I wonder fucking why, mate.
So I'm gonna have to do that alone. That one.
Hey,
I'm gonna have to do that one alone.
Bring it on the 2nd of March, mate.
Okay.
Open it on the front row and see what happens.
Now, how was what was it like when you Chris said that you got the role as Clarence? What did you feel, Rick? I mean, was it something like, it's like, because like I said before, it's like here you are, you're well, among us, you're a pretty well known YouTuber, and you're very, everybody looks at you, and Pablo did, and you do by yourself.
Yeah.
But that was slapstick comedy. I was just like, it's not acting, it's not necessarily working. But here you are chasing this dream, and you are going to be walking onto the set. What was your reaction when you got the part? I mean, and you walked up in your first day of set. I mean, what kind of emotions were going through your head?
Well, first of all, when I spoke to Chris, this sounds bad, but I didn't so much believe in the project because the script changed that many times. But I believed in Chris and his vision, and I could see he was passionate, and I knew he really wanted it. So I bought into Chris, and I read the script, and I thought, wow, this could be an interesting character, because I wanted him to be, is it Ben Kingsley out of Sexy Beast? I wanted him to be a bit like that, but Chris says no, he's got to be smoother. And so yeah, as I thought about it more, it was just a case of just trying to put yourself in that person's shoes, and what would you do? I mean, I was busting a few blood vessels, shouting, and I had a sore throat the following day. But it was great, and it was surreal because it wasn't really a set, although it wasn't, because it was a video shop.
Yeah, that's right. That's right. The movie set is the movie's about. Well, tell us what you can, Chris. Tell us what you can about the plot. It is set in a video store. Is this movie set in the 80s, 90s, 2000s?
It's kind of like, it's not set in any. It's not said where it's set. It could be any sort of era, but I would say more recent times with a mixture of both. It's not like this is definitely in this era, because there's mobile phones in it briefly. It's like a Mustang in it, so you could tell what sort of era it is, but it's like a massive nod. The whole shop is 80s. But yeah, it's I could give you a very, very quick outline. And the original script was like Die Hard in a video shop.
Yeah.
They changed that. So it was a fantastic
Die Hard in a video store.
Yeah.
Oh my god! Yeah, you got to make that.
The first one was So basically, we found a tape in a charity shop that was worth, like, Back to the Future, the original one, sealed, worth like 80,000 quid, and Rick was playing a character who wanted to collect it. He was a collector. Then he gate crashed our Halloween party, and that all went to shit. And we were fixing the printer, basically. And it ended up being Die, but I was dressed as John McClane, and my mate was dressed as the bloke with a heart now having a machine gun terrorist. Then it was just too difficult. It was too many action pieces that we couldn't do. So this one is kind of based very loosely on a true story. We get donated a bag of tapes from Rick's character, and on the end of them, there's some bad things on them, and it's his job to try and claim them back. It's basically the best way I can describe it without giving too much away.
So basically, it will be on the tapes, probably a bunch of video tapes episodes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want those back. You could keep them.
It's definitely.
I owed Gareth that. So I love the fact that you guys did videotapes though. Because I saw pictures of the room, and you guys did have all those video cassette tapes.
Yeah.
Where did you get those from?
So the idea, I've got a sports shop downstairs and a shop that I rent, and upstairs was a free space. So me and the lad who plays Rob in the film just came up with this idea of having like recreating a mom and pop 80s video shop. So we did that. Got the racking from a friend, built some racking, and Rob's got that collection, and then basically built it through just looking on eBay or people donating stuff. So they're all like proper.
I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, they're all big box rental ones with the cassettes in and everything. So they're all genuine article. Then we've got like an escape room in the back that's in the film, which is based on the slaughtered lamb. And then an 80s bedroom, which is just as a a museum sort of piece of what it was like growing up in the 80s. But that's used in the film, and also the screening room, which is based on The Shining. So there's loads of Easter eggs in this film. Whether we'll get sued or not is another thing. But there's just so many Easter eggs to look out for where you go, oh, that's from there. And there's even some of the dialogue is sort of lifted. Not, some directly from quotes that aren't dead obvious. So wouldn't use anything like, I don't know, Luke, I'm your father. It would be that obvious, but there'd be a Luke like, that's from that.
Our good, the Sci-Fi Scrap Heap mentions. Did you put a trailer out yet for One Night Rental? I mean, is there a trailer on YouTube out yet?
Yeah, there's a very quick trailer. We're going to work on. We're actually working on for hopefully next week to have a bit of a longer trailer. But there's a 40-second one already on YouTube.
Okay. Yeah. Okay. See, Echo's putting everybody's links out there. Thank you so much. Gareth says he's offended that VHS portrayed in a negative light. See, it was all his videos.
Well, Gareth's loft's going to collapse soon and kill him because.
Oh my God! Yes. If you guys do a sequel to this, you definitely got to go and shoot his loft. Oh,
okay. Shoot Gareth.
You gotta shoot that. Hi Betty, how are you? I'm glad you're feeling better, Echo. You were missed last night. So okay, now the real big question I got for you, Rick, is so tell us what it was like meeting Danny Thompson, your co-star, for the first time, because it's gorgeous.
Yeah, she obviously you sort of kind of get this idea in your head how somebody's going to be. I thought ex-glamour model turned film star. I thought she was going to be a bit of a diva, a bit stuck up, but she wasn't. She was really down to earth, really nice lady.
You didn't watch our interview that we did together, her and I?
Yeah, I saw that. But to be fair, I didn't really know who she was then. So it wasn't until after that I went back and watched your interview with her. But yeah, she's really nice. I put my foot in it a couple of times, saying stuff maybe I should have thought about first. But she just laughed. So I thought, but no, she's really down to earth, really nice woman.
Really, really sweet. I mean, definitely comes across. And were you nervous at all? Because I mean, I know you said you hadn't really heard of her, but that's because she did a lot of horror films, and you yourself don't come from a background of horror movies. You come from an action movie background. I mean, those are the type of movies that you liked. You're not really a horror guy. So
my favorite genre probably is horror, but yeah, obviously when me and Pablo talk, we try and talk about the classics: Commando, Terminator, Rambo. But yeah, certainly I'd not seen any of her films, so yeah. But then obviously I looked on IMDb and thought, bloody hell, she's done a lot of films, and she's got a massive following on Instagram as well. So it was like, wow, yeah.
So she's. And how did you know about her, Chris? I mean, did you know her through her reputation as being a screen queen, or?
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah.
So it's kind of like looked at seeing her in films and seeing sort of the volume of films she's been in, and had a look. That's pretty much how I know her from. I didn't know her from the glamour days. I think that was like a bit before my time, the Zoo magazines and all that stuff. But
a bit before your time,
eh?
A bit before your time.
A bit before your time. Do you say a bit before your time? You mean bit
no,
before,
the magazine.
No,
she'll kill me for that. No, she will kill me for that. I'm joking.
You mean bit before you had to get permission to go back there and look at it before you.
Nah, I didn't get into that sort of stuff. So anyway, so I saw a lot of that, and she was dead sweet. And when she came, I met her the night before. We had a few drinks and chatted and talked about football and soccer in America. And shared a few good stories, and she's really, really nice. She's just like dead set down to her, dead sound, and no issues on set, dead easy, does whatever you want to do, and adds a bit extra without even being asked. So there's a couple of bits again in the film where I never, particularly the end scene where I'd lost my mind a bit, and she was excellent. Everyone in that scene was excellent. I think, hopefully through a little bit of fear.
Yeah, that wasn't her acting.
Was it not acting? She was shitting herself.
No. She was scared.
Let's see. Let's see. Okay, that's a good question. You know, that's a really good question since you did set this movie in a video store, Chris.
Yeah.
Were you when you were growing up, you know, before you got into movies, did you watch a lot of videotapes back in the day when you were growing up?
Yeah, mate. Yeah. I was obsessed with movies. I used to have every sort of week, twice a week, go and get videos from the video shop and be naughty and copy them. So then I'd have some people from the village will come around and rent videos from my house because I had that many. I had like hundreds and hundreds. And I used to collect them. I used to buy them as well. Make my own covers. Just massively into film. And
as the time went on, though, was it mid to late 90s? It started decoding them, so they're all in black and white and fuzzy when you.
Oh, that it was Touchstone. Pictures was a pain in the arse. So I had the Touchstone, and when I got See No Evil, Hear No Evil, that was a shit copy, and I was proper gutted. So I had to wait for that to come out. I used to buy. What I used to do is copy them and then buy them when they came out as well. So it wasn't really like a massive bad pirate. I wanted them and I couldn't wait. So I'd pirate them and then keep them myself and then buy them anyway. So, but yeah, huge film fan. Saw a lot of movies, but missed some that probably people think, yeah, you probably should have seen that. But because I get quite obsessional about stuff, so I watch a film.
Now, were you brave enough to watch horror films, or did you stay safe and just watch action films?
Yeah, I was very fortunate. My dad let me watch anything. So one of the first horror films I watched was Devil's Reign. I don't know if you remember that one with William Shatner.
Yeah, William Shatner. Yeah.
No, I was at a friend's house and he put it on, and it was raining outside, and I was shitting myself. I refused to go till it stopped raining because we just saw the melty end bit. And my cousin made me watch. She was babysitting at the time. I think I was 6 or 7, and she put on American Werewolf in London.
Oh so, no!
For a 7-year-old, it's pretty scared, mate. Of
yeah,
yeah. So, but I miss that. I miss having that fear of that because nothing scares you when you get older. I don't think.
Yeah, you know that is something, you know, that does happen, right? You know, as a director, as a screenwriter, especially as a screenwriter, because not only did you direct this movie, but you also wrote it. So here you are, you know, it's double duty. And, you know, here you are, you're trying to write a script that's going to come across as fresh and original, and it's going to be fun, you know, and it's like, because, you know, a lot of times, you know, people come out and they're sort of too jaded, you know, they're sort of desensitized, like, oh, I've seen this before, you know, and it's like, there's no more wonderment anymore. People don't allow themselves to have wonderment, to be like, holy shit, that's pretty amazing, you know? Mm-hmm. You know, now everybody wants to come out there and be a self-styled critic on the tube and sit there and give their 2 cents, which no one gives a rat's ass what it is. But they want to, you know, and they want to just break down a movie, and they want to break down, you know, you know, I can understand that was a $300 million film. I can understand that. But you know, but when it's a small independent film.
Well, what makes me laugh about it? I've seen some critics who do independent stuff, and they criticize independent films, and you know, it's like picking on a kid in the playground who's like got the short trousers on and just on, you know, just whatever. It's easy pickings because it's such a hard thing to do. And then you've got what sort of grates me slightly about these people who do that is that their production values are even shitter than the film that they're criticizing.
Yes.
It's like, get your own shit together before you start criticizing other people. In my opinion, I mean, I don't mind. I mean, I'm going to open mine up to the critics, and I'm quite prepared for it.
Except for Louisa Warren, though, that's the worst director I've seen out of the UK. I just got to say that I've seen like 5 or 6 of her movies, and they're just utterly rubbish. And it's like, it's a shame because it's like, we were talking about this yesterday on another show. How, you know, every filmmaker comes out, yes, you expect it to be rough. Like this movie comes out, this, you know, a one night rental comes out, it's a little rough because it's the first one. But you are going to take that movie, I'm sure you're going to dissect it, you're going to sit there and say, well, I could have improved on this, I could have improved on that.
Yeah.
But then the next movie you come out with is going to be that much stronger.
Absolutely.
You know,
I think that's a disappointing thing when you see, again, some of the independents. What you're getting at is they'll make a film and it's atrocious, and it gets panned, and then they'll release another film, and they're making the same mistakes over and over again. It's anything in life, you get sacked if you did that in your job, or if you're a sports person and you decided that I know what I'll do, I'll just keep doing the same shit over and over again. I'm all up for giving people chances, but you're right. There's so many ways. Like, you've done the same thing again, and a lot of it is down to, does this make sense? Was I entertained? And that the first thing is, was I entertained is the biggest box to tick. Never mind your camera angles and what P it's in, or what bit rate and all that crap. Were you entertained? Second bit is, it technically look good. Then you go down that line there, and then does it make sense? A lot of these individuals kind of just go, I've made a film, and don't really tick any of those boxes. Just the fact they've done an hour and a half, and I think that they've got to look at it and go, that's a lot of padding in there.
I mean, there are some movies out there now that that you're right. They can go out there and run time for 90 minutes or whatnot. And then if you really think about, some of the padding, next thing you know, what was a 90-minute movie could have been a 70-minute movie,
Easy. I mean, I think some of them again, it's difficult, because I know how difficult it is to do it. When you make mistakes over and again, you should be open to criticism, but the padding side of it is just, again, you say padding. It's pointless dialogue that doesn't drive the story forward or add any interest to the character development or anything like that. It's just to go, we need it to be 90 minutes. And 90-minute films sometimes feel like about 4 hours because of that.
Right. Yeah. If it's not that good. Yeah. What was surprised, Ricky, when you walked it? You said this is like your second movie, but I'm taking it the first movie you did was a short film, right?
No. The first film I did hasn't actually been released yet. That's coming out in spring. It's a found footage horror.
Okay.
I played a social media influencer in that.
So you're playing yourself?
Yeah.
Okay.
And my name was Ricky.
Did you get that before you did ours, Rick?
Say again?
You shot it after doing ours, but you got it before our thing, wasn't it? Is that right?
Yeah, but in fact, I shot it before we did all the scenes with Danny.
Okay.
It was literally only a day, and then that's it. It was done.
I suppose also going very quickly back to the other question is, we rehearsed this quite a bit, didn't we?
Yeah,
we did. Set and everything. So a lot of there's a lot of footage of us filming it before we filmed it, if you know what I mean. So when we got to the set on day one, we'd already gone through the film nearly anyway.
Because originally it was going to be black and white, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Let's see. Okay, here we go. We got a couple more questions here or comments. See, Big Kahuna Derby says Danny was great. As a first-time actor in this movie, she helped me get over my fears, especially in the end scene. Yeah, that's what happens when you get a veteran and a skilled operator in. It helps out a lot. So again, hats off to the lovely Danny Thompson. See, Echo mentions American Werewolf in London is an awesome movie. Probably not best for a 7-year-old.
No, don't trust me now. I'm still scared of wolves now.
Let's see, best werewolf transformation scene in a movie ever. Yes.
So Werewolf Cabell.
And we got another one from Sci-Fi Scrap Peep, who wants to know, what other movies would you say that One Night Rental is like? Yeah, I mean, in comparison, I mean, what inspires you? What movies inspired you to write One Night Rental?
Okay, a lot of people say it's very similar to Clark's, but because it's set in a shop and it was originally a bit black and white, and there's some similarities to that. Dialogue wise, I've always been interested in things that probably, like the odd micro expressions, are more funny to me than dialogue as well. So it's that sort of thing, how things fit, the beats and everything like that. Inspiration wise, I say it's based on slightly a true story. I just love loads of film stuff. It's basically a lot of films chucked in together. I'm not going to go down the route of saying, yes, I love Tarantino and I want to write like Tarantino, because that's just a no-go area. You can't do that. It's impossible. But he's amazing. Kevin Smith's another one. But if you try and write like Kevin Smith, it sounds like a shit Kevin Smith film. Try and like Tarantino, it turns out like a shit Tarantino film. So you get influencers and then you write like yourself, and you come on, and everyone else in it puts our input into it, and if it fits the feel of the film, then I'll stick it in. Because there's been a lot of suggestions for certain gags that people will probably not get, but we get them. So I think I'm going to stick it in, and if it's delivered well, I think people will. I used to laugh at Eddie Murphy doing his stand-up, and no idea who Ralph Cramden and Ed Norton were before I was laughing my head off for Delirious, and I was like, no idea who these people were. So it's the delivery as well. But yeah, no massive inspiration for, as in overall film construction wise. Just a lot of filmmakers and writers.
What current British filmmakers right now, if you are looking around the landscape, I mean, is there any British filmmakers now, like yourself that you look at and inspired by or admire their work?
Not really. I kind of gone. I think I've got a shut off in the sort of early 2000s from like my drawer was full of influencers. So I've watched films over and over and over again. I don't think anyone's beaten, because I sound like an old fire, but no one I've seen, not even Christopher Nolan stuff, has beaten what's gone on prior to that, like Kevin Smith's earlier films, Tarantino's earlier films, Fincher, them sort of things. It's never progressed to a point where dialogue is as sharp as what it was in the early 90s and 80s. Personally, I don't think it's. I was obsessed with films. I still am now, but that's where I get the beats and the emotion and things like that, where my humour comes from. And I still think it's relevant now. Sort of even go back to like Sidney Poitier and stuff like that with Stir Crazy, that sort of humour. But now there's no one that really I go. That's like, because I think everything that's coming out now is basically for eye candy shit. It's for your eyes. It's not for your ears. And there's not been a
or your heart. Or your heart.
Heart, exactly. Yeah, you don't care about the characters. Well, I mean, that sounds like me getting like an old twat, but I don't think there is. I don't think there's anything where you go that really hits me. That's funny or that's.
And it's funny too. It's funny because we're talking about the critics about how, like everybody's desensitized. Everybody's desensitized.
Yeah.
When people always talk about action gags, or they'll talk about the horror gags, but you never really hear anybody talk about the heart of the movie.
Yeah.
Where you're actually feeling something. And that's a shame. That's a real shame, because it seems to be a lost art. Making a movie that can move you. Because everybody's been so jaded now by so many movies or
that film hit me.
Yeah, it's a fucking horse, Rick, not a person.
Warhorse, yeah. Now, see, I mean, now let's ask this: what are some of the movies now? I mean, that that would move either one of you, that you would show real emotion with? Are there any movies that out there like that right now that would move you or have moved you in the past?
I can't think, to be honest. Well, I've left the cinema and gone, wow, that's proper got me. Whenever the Star Wars fanfare comes up, for that 30 seconds, that gets me, and then I realise it's a bag of shit now.
Yeah.
That's the time in the cinema. I can't really think. What I've seen has been shit. That's amazing. That's why I don't go to the cinema very often anymore, I think, which is a bit of a shame, because cinema is an experience, and it should bring out the best. Like, I watched Flash, I think, was one of the last things, and again, I enjoyed it, but then you try to watch it at home, and you think, this is just toss.
Yeah.
It's just like I got sort of duped into it because
I love the substance
on a huge screen, and it looked amazing. Oh, it didn't look amazing. The CGI was a bit iffy, but I actually quite enjoyed it. And I went back at home. To be fair, I quite like the new Batman, the Robert Pattinson one. That had a bit more soul to it than usual. But fucking brain's gone on that one.
What's more important when you screenwrite, Chris? Are you looking for what do you look for first when you screenwrite? Are you looking for emotion? Are you looking for laughs? Or are you looking for scares? I mean, I know it depends on the story per se, but whatever story you write, what comes first to you? What's the first thing you want to establish in your screenplay?
Hugely important for me. It's characters straight away. You've got to establish your character before you can start going into doing jokes. You've got to establish the character and go, this is why he's that way. And then the way I don't do jokes really, it's more like conversations that actually sound cool and you want to be involved with that. And there's some funny bits in the film where it's a genuine joke, but it's not like hang on, Englishman, Irishman, Scotsman went into a bar. It's not that sort of a joke. It's a set-up joke that is subtle in most ways, but definitely character development over any of that. And then I have an outline of a story, a really rough one, as probably Rick knows. And then I like to not know what happens. So it sounds really stupid, but I'll write, and then I write as I'm going. And then if film ends how I feel it should end. So it keeps it exciting for me. So I'm not going, I need to get to this point to this point. I just go with it. It's like a choose your own adventure. And if one character's getting stronger, they'll get more dialogue and they'll become more rounded. If one is becoming, actually, that's not working, then they get written out of it. That's, I mean, I don't know if that's the way most people work, but it's, I find that a lot more interesting for me. And it's just fun because you get to an end, you go, shit, that's different to what, because this film's ending is totally different to what it was when I wrote it originally. Mm-hmm. Totally different. And I think
Rick commented about how the script was always changing. You know, so we got the script, but that's welcome to the world of indie movies, because that's a constant. That will always be whatever set you walk on, Rick. That will most likely will happen on an indie set. There will be changes like that.
On any set. It happened on The Shining a lot. I know Cuba used to rewrite every single day, and then get different coloured papers for every single day. But it's always for the best, I think, when we're doing it. Hopefully, when there's rewrites for a reason. It wouldn't be just to go, let's just piss Rick off today and rewrite his script. Because he likes, you're very professional, Rick, as he learns his lines more than anyone on the set. I'll be honest with you.
Let's see, we got a couple. I'm not surprised. You know, him and Pablo, they were very much. I mean, you can always tell they're always working on the loose outline of what they were going to do during the video. So, I mean, you know, you definitely got some of the training. You know, whether you realize it or not, when you were doing your YouTube stuff. Right?
Oh yeah, definitely.
So hello, New York gal. I'm glad you're here. Glad you're here. Yes, I know the English and their accents are amazing. See, sci-fi scrap.
I've never heard somebody say that before.
Even though I know somebody who sends somebody else reels that pokes fun at that. But that's all we're gonna say about that. Let's see. See, sci-fi scrap peep says, just saw the trailer. The shop looks amazing. Is it open to visit? Is it a working shop?
Yeah, the weekends it's open.
All right. That's cool as hell.
On the Facebook page is Video Shop. That's where it's from.
See, and Big Kahuna Derby says, who surprised you most on set, either with their acting ability or their inputs? That's a good question.
Rick, do you want, if you want to answer that, I can answer it as well if you want to. But let Rick speak for it.
The person who surprised me on set the most was probably Neil, who plays Vern, because when I first met him, he was in character because he'd just been about to shoot a scene, and I thought he was like that. I thought he was just a bit special, but he wasn't. He was, well, I suppose he is, but
it's looking worse than that.
Well, yeah. But yeah, I mean, and he's just comedy gold. This character, it's like it's made for him. Really, really funny guy. It just tickles me. And I think it will be the standout character in the film as well, definitely.
Yeah, Neil was always there from the start, and working on that character, it kind of, the voice came from nowhere, but again, that's based on a real person. Just the name, though. And then we sort of molded it into someone who would be just the ultimate video geek, but without any filters and any acknowledgement of the outside world. So I think he can say what he thinks and does what he likes, but doesn't do a great deal. But I think surprising wise, I don't really know who surprised me acting, and quite a few times I was surprised with the torture victims. Their screams are something special, aren't they?
Yeah, they were.
I mean, we asked her, can you scream? And they went, we're going to have to do it ADR if not. And this dude screamed It was proper haunting, and it was in an actual disused slaughterhouse. So we like this in this middle of nowhere. Typically, this bloke screaming in a slaughterhouse,
Yeah.
like the police and stuff. But that was wicked. I love that. That was quite an exciting bit. Everyone really, when I watched the run backs and stuff for things, it's like, that's really worked really well. Like, 'cause I missed sort of like particularly your reactions, Rick, in the car with Danny, and Ray's reaction to the last scene was like, you'd probably miss it if you didn't know it was there. But little bits like that make it worthwhile. I think everyone did it. Everyone sort of got me at one stage on like Neil. Even Neil, well, I went through his character a lot with him, even though he's done it probably 10-15 minutes. But again, the end scene, the bit he added in, just the shush was like, for me, amazing. It makes it seem twice as good by just going shush. And I didn't write that. I wrote everything else, but I didn't write the shush. So
yeah. I mentioned this to Chris before you got here, Rick. But I mean, I was wondering if you had any close-ups with the lovely Miss Thompson, and if you did, what was it like to work in close proximity with her?
Yeah, I mean, she plays my wife in the film, so we did a lot of scenes together with torturing people as well, handing each other tools to slap into people. But yeah, she was great to work with. She's one of those people who very, very easy to work with. She sort of read the script, we gave her the lowdown of what the character's like, and she just got straight on with it. As Chris said, there's nothing too much that, she just, well, what do you want me to do? Do it like this, and then okay, and then off she went and did it. It was nice standing behind the camera as she was walking to it at one stage with her.
I got caught for that shot. I knew I didn't film that. I knew I
Wait a minute. Are you saying there's a little bit of a sassy part in there?
Well, her whole character's very sassy. That's the whole point, and she's got this little red dress on the whole time.
Yes.
So yeah, and there's quite a few close-ups of the old cleavage as well. So
yeah, she definitely she's definitely a screen queen. I mean, she's definitely got that down. And she was a final girl, right? I mean, her character, you and her, supposedly, either you were turned into ghosts or, maybe there could be coming back. Maybe we'll have to see. We'll have to see. I mean, I don't know how you're coming back, but I definitely would like to see you guys work together, because I really like the poster. The poster really, and I thought they captured your profile really well, Rick. I thought it was very generous, the poster, and it kicks ass. It's a kick ass poster.
I did not expect it to be so funny.
It's because I got a big head. That's what it is.
Well, I didn't think. I didn't ask for that. I was like, but then it works really well. I'm so pleased that they did it that way. Because you're probably in this film. How long will you say, Rick? Half an hour?
Yeah, off and on. Yeah.
Now, where you mentioned before you shot in a shop? Is that the only? Is this movie pretty much set in just one location, or
no, there's the shop the shop's got 4 rooms to it, so we utilize every room in the shop. That's the main location. Then you've got the slaughterhouse, which again, if I had a bit more time there, they'd shot a bit more in there, because there was like the hook machine that worked. So we were trying to think of ways to make body parts on there without making it look shit. We didn't really have the time to make it not look shit, so I never used that. So the slaughterhouse was good. Then we used to shoot at someone's nan's house, which that was another location. And outdoors quite a bit, which I quite like outdoors. It looks pretty sharp. The outdoor scenes work really well. It's just the looks that you get. And there's one bit in the film where there's a bloke dressed exactly like the bloke in our film walking towards it. Like it's completely coincidence. It's still in the film. It's like that dude is dressed exactly the same. It's weird. But the location wise, it was all pretty close by, but having it in the shop makes it so much easier to control. And the set kicks ass in my opinion anyway. So it's not like we've tried to recreate a video shop and just put a few videos on a wall and at reposition. No, it's like
Green screen.
Yeah, there's not. It's actually like a impressive looking shot, so that helps loads.
Yeah,
and that carries a film a little bit. And so if you don't like what's going off, you can always look around and go, "Shit, that are them curtains or are that bedding?" Yeah, if you get bored of the movie, you can look in the background and go, "Fucking, that's wicked." So I think it should work on most levels, but hopefully it's not. It won't be a boring film. It's pretty quick and punchy.
I don't think it will be boring for anyone. I think there'll be something in there for everyone. It is. I think it's going to end up like one of those cult films, whereas it's got a very niche audience who love it, and then I don't think anybody will get bored watching it. I really don't.
Yeah. If someone gets it, they'll get it and they'll absolutely adore it because there's so much in there to like. If they don't get it, if they're not from that era or they're like, I didn't get that. I think there's still a decent story behind it to go, okay, now that's quite clever.
I think so.
With a bit of a twist in there.
We definitely hope there's a twist. Now, would you describe this movie as a horror comedy or crime caper comedy or?
I'd have to know. It was originally down as a horror / comedy. I don't think, again, with the independents calling things horror, and it's like, it's not really horror, is it? It's not scary in the slightest. It's not horror. So it's like, you've done your best, and I appreciate that. We don't call things horror by just having a bloke in a mask. It don't work. This is more down, I think, I don't know how, I hate the word drama because it wouldn't fit it right. I mean, and I don't like going for comedy because you're saying, I'm trying to be funny. We are a little bit. It's just a piece of film to genre-ise it. I suppose you'd have to go out for comedy drama, personally. But you've got to.
I'd say that my character sort of changes the film because it
definitely, yeah.
And then once my character comes in, it goes from like a comedy to like you say, a crime caper, and then it's still very funny all the way through. Although it's quite dark humor, there's people getting tortured and things like that. But
yeah, it's dark. It's not slapstick.
Yeah, it's done tongue in cheek, so it's not offensive or anything like that.
Right.
But it's not overly stupid either, is it? It's not like slapsticky humor. It's
no.
Okay, we got some comments here on the chat. Let's see. Will there be a 2-night rental? That's a good question. Hopefully so. Hopefully so.
Well, Chris can answer that one, can't you, Chris?
Yeah, I can. Yeah, there'll be. This is a part of a trilogy.
Let's see. And Big Kahuna wants to know what's next.
I missed that, didn't he?
What's next for you guys? I mean, what's next for your team, Chris? I mean, you got another movie out? You got anything on? I mean, not another movie out, but are you writing another movie? Are you writing either a sequel or another movie that you're going to be launching as soon as you get this one on its way?
Yeah, I've nearly finished the second script, so this is part of a trilogy. So we're doing a trilogy of this.
Okay. Now, I was going to ask. I'm sorry. I was going to ask you this. Now, because you are making an independent film, were you able to get any help financing? Because the British and the Irish are a little bit different. Their governments will help filmmakers get their movies made. Were you able to submit and get a grant to help make this movie?
No, we did it pretty quickly. I kind of once I had it down and had everyone involved with it. The grant side of things was like, we don't actually need it. That sounds really stupid because I wish we'd have gone for it, but we were that close on time that I've not got with. How much this film cost to make, Rick? You probably know a bit more. It was not much. It's not in the thousands, is it really?
It was probably $5,000 max.
Yeah, and that's sort of we just put it ourselves. So it's not as far as like getting grants. We'd probably look at that for the third one because this was sort of testing the sort of testing see if we could pull it off. So and then we kind of have done. So this is a tester of something that we can move on and go. Yeah, we could pull it off with nothing. So if you show an investor or grant people and go, like, have you got any work done? Yeah, this is what we've done with nothing. They'll go, shit. What could they
Now,
do with a few grand?
have you ever worked with the grant people? How does that work? I mean, how do you write do you have to write or submit you have to submit your
Yeah,
script to them, and then
the biggest one's probably in this country is a lottery grant for filming, and it's a bit of a minefield, to be honest with you. A lot of people get their own grants personally, like through Indiegogo and places like Kickstarter and things like that. So the films like that Black Coppers Productions that did that Wealth Cabal and things like that, they raised like 40-50 grand from Indiegogo and things like that, which like is a miracle to me because we couldn't raise that. I think we got 500 quid off there. But a lottery grant's a different thing. You apply for it, and it's a little bit of sounding like a crap pun. It's a lottery.
Yeah.
If you get the lottery grant.
So the lottery grant basically is your movie goes inside and you get spun around, and if your movie gets picked, you get lottery funds.
Kind of, yeah. It's like you'd have to sort of print out how much you'd want and things like that. But a lot of people now, particularly in the independent scene, they'll go down into Indiegogo, crowdfunder. They'll not get funding from government for making independent movies.
Now you have heard. I've been reading this week about how British television seems to be being hit by budget, and a lot of TV shows and a lot of actors are being canceled. Their shows are being canceled, or they're being let go from the shows. Is that a problem moving forward for British cinema, for filmmakers such as yourself? Is because like a lot of these network TVs, they can't afford their own shows anymore. Will they be competing with indie filmmakers for lottery grant money?
It depends. If you're looking down, like say the BBC, which is like basically government owned, that's very rarely. I mean, obviously everyone in the country has to pay for that for a license. They ain't going to suffer much. BBC have always got plenty of coin. It's like ITV and the commercialized stations that are going to probably struggle because of things like YouTube. People can make their own stuff, and it's much more popular than M&L Farm is at the moment. As far as a knock-on effect, I think making films is becoming so much easier to get it out there, but that means there's a big flood of shite.
Yeah.
So
is that flood of shite coming from America? Because I mean, other than the one director I mentioned earlier, I mean, so far, most of the English films I've seen within the last 5 or 6 years, they've been really solid. I mean, they've been really solid. I mean, one movie, they're in Ireland per se, but a couple of them have just been fucking outstanding. Ashleen Clark and Leon Gavin. I mean, they're two freaking amazing directors.
Yeah,
but it does seem like there's a lot of talent in the UK. So why all of a sudden now are we starting to see that? Or in your opinion, I mean, because I know you talk I mean, do you talk to other directors and other screenwriters? Do you have communication with them?
not massively. A little bit with some people, but maybe because I say I know, not name dropping again, but I know Dom reasonably well, and is a good friend, and he's the only one sort of get the bloke I can reach out to and go to. And the level he's at, it's like bit of like it's worth going to him instead of going to the lower down guys, if you know what I mean, who I don't know very well, and I can sort of talk to about. And if I've seen their film, and I'm not overly like, oh, this is a bit. It's difficult to have them conversations with someone about that. I don't know about the scene. There's quite a lot. There's some really cool people, a lot of passionate people out there about stuff. But particularly, and they're splitting off into genres, which is pretty cool. And I'm going to watch one tonight when I've done this. So there's a good variety out there. But I think that horror seems to be the one that's pretty predominant in British independent cinema. But it can be done. I mean, money's like everything.
It used to be gangster movies for the UK cinema. I mean, whenever I thought about that, I always thought it was always gangsters, but you're right. I mean, it does seem now that there's a lot more horror coming out of the UK than ever before.
Yeah.
I mean, some of it, like I said, some of it's outstanding. I mean, just fucking outstanding.
I just hope with the gangsters things, I think people have hopefully realised now that shootouts and punch ups are harder to do than they think, and chucking a cockney in there just ain't going to cut it anymore. You've got to be a bit more clever than that. For the horrors as well, I think there's a scope. Definitely someone will come out in this independent scene now. There'll be someone who'll make a film that'll absolutely pop because it's got to. They'll get it just right. A bit like we'll go back to Blair Witch, like no money, Clerks, $27,000. Doesn't matter how much money you've got; it's how well you do it.
Right.
Someone's going to do that. Someone will do it, and there'll be another one coming out. I think another filmmaker will go, "Shit, you've come from that," and it's so there's definitely legs in this field, but there's a lot to tread through. I mean, I'll send you some links to some films that might change your mind about how good British horror is at the moment.
Oh yeah, well, I'll have to send you some that tells you that it's in very good hands. I can send you some that is in very good hands.
Don't send any Wild Eye.
No, I'll be sending you IFC Midnight. Thank you very much.
Hey, IFC Midnight. There's that Irish one, wasn't there? That found footage one set in.
The Devil's Doorway.
That's the one. Brilliant.
Fucking brilliant is right, and she's got a new movie coming out too this year. Actually, yeah. So I'm very pumped for that. I'm very pumped. Ricky, when you went down, when you create your character, how hard was it for you to create a character? Because you don't have any formal training, right? You're just going basically off your on your interpretation of your character. So how hard is that? How hard was that for you to do without any proper training? I mean, because you don't want to come across as playing Rick in every movie. I'll go, it's Ricky. We see him in old AFs. So how is Clarence? When we watch Clarence, how is Clarence different from Rick?
He tortures people.
Gareth says that you tortured him, so.
Oh well, yeah, but that's mental. That's a mental torture. No, I mean, I used to do stand-up comedy and music, so I've always been okay on a stage with people looking at me, and so I've never been shy. And I think acting, you've just got to. I try and put myself into a character. What would I do as that character? Okay, I've got this script to go by, but how would I respond? How would I behave? What would I do if I had somebody doing something or other to me? How would I behave? But then also trying to be in that character as well. This is how he's going to behave, but let's try and put a bit of human to him as well, and put a bit of myself into that character too. If that makes sense, I don't know.
Did you find it hard to put to create the character? Was it hard for you to bring him to life?
No, well, I don't know. You'll have to speak to Chris. Did I do a good job, Chris? I don't know.
Yeah, definitely, mate. I think I had to give you a little bit of direction, not a lot, because you say you were really well prepared. You had all your lines down. Just sort of tones and when to shout and when not to shout is probably the most direction I gave you. Is I think sometimes you were going to go, I'll shout here. I was like, no, don't shout because it's still scary.
Yes, yeah. I think speaking quietly is a lot more scary than yelling.
Yeah, and then when you suddenly shout into that, it's a bit. I kind of nicked that a little bit, if I'm honest. There's a scene in it where a torture scene where you're whispering to them, and then you shout one line. Yeah, which was slightly lifted, only a little bit from Heath Ledger as a Joker when he's torturing that bloke, and he goes, "Look at me, look at me." And I thought that proper shit me up when he's gone from a different voice. I was like joking around to him, "Look at me." And that's what I wanted to go for. Obviously not copying that, but copying that sort of.
I don't think there's such a thing as that, because there's been movies beforehand where they've had that before.
Yeah, definitely. That's an example I could think of. I just like the fact that when you go quiet loud, it's a lot more intimidating than just screaming at somebody.
Yeah. Right. I mean, I tend to, as a film viewer, I tend to pay attention more when the killer is quiet. When they don't speak above very loud, it makes it more menacing. Like John Malkovich is a perfect example of that. When he's quiet, when he's speaking in his normal voice, he's really, really creepy. You know, like, if he yells, it takes a little bit away from it. But when he's quiet, yeah, that sort of sends shivers up your spine. Let's see. Go back to the chat real quick here. People are coming in and saying hello, hello, hello. Okay. Hobbs is here. Hi, Hobbs. How are you? Okay.
Josh, how are we, mate?
Let's see. Clarence doesn't tell shit jokes. That's the difference between.
Piss off, Ray.
Is that from Ray?
Yeah.
And Clarence probably doesn't drink his pale ale. Let's see. Sting says
he might.
Ricky,
next movie. Do you guys like Shrek? Okay, that's a weird question. Let's see.
They job at me.
Yeah, Fang X. Do you guys like waffles and donkeys? Okay.
Waffles and donkeys.
Yeah. Well, you know what? Let's see. Here's a legitimate question. It says, does it ever get heated on a set? And if so, how? Yeah, I mean, it's your first movie. I'm sure you felt the pressure on it, and we already knew that. You know, you mentioned before you got a little bit of fried, and you punched. You had a William Friedkin moment, which is totally understandable. Is that hard? I mean, when there's a squabble on the set, right? There's a squabble on the set. What steps do you take, Chris, to settle it down? Since you're the leader.
I suppose that happens mainly like after the film's done, or like
Chris
after
normally causes the squabbles.
I do cause the squabbles. Yeah, I'm quite a feisty character. Not really. No, I have to keep everyone happy as possible, and that's quite a difficult job. Sometimes, I mean, I'm genuine, but I don't like when people don't get on. And to be fair, everyone's got on really well. That's not a lie. But when there's a little bit of a friction thing, it's easily solvable. But that's like playing daddy a little bit. It sounds. The only thing that got heated in this film was a clutch of my mate's Mustang when Ricky tried to reverse it with a handbrake on. So we got a Mustang for Clarence's car, which is, I don't know, like a quite expensive car. It's my friend of mine. Right. And we had to move it around. It was dark in a tight corner, but it took some. My mate was stood there going, "What's he doing with that car?" And Ricky, what did you do? He reversed it with the fucking handbrake on.
Well, I went to put the handbrake on when I parked and realised I had to take
and you know what else he does too, Chris? He drives on the wrong side of the road too. Yeah. I don't know if you noticed that.
No. We ride on the correct side of the road in this case.
Oh my gosh, that's what though. That's again. I think all that is just a case of the first time nerves.
It's an ongoing joke. It's an ongoing joke. I've not seen my mate since.
Oh my god! You're never gonna live that down now, Rick. It's out there now.
Well, no one fell out, did they, Rick, on the set? No one.
No, I think I can safely say I've made some really good friends as well from this film. So yeah, I think everybody's been great.
I can't wait to see it. I think it's going to be exciting, and again, it's going to be absolutely a joy to see you out there, working and chasing your dream, and hopefully, and you got the other movie coming out. If you don't mind, Chris, if we could ask Rick a little bit about the other movie. So tell us a little bit about about the found footage film. How did that come about?
I reviewed the guy's first film. It's called The House on Mansfield Street, and I reviewed it on YouTube in my comedic sort of way. And the guy saw it and loved it, and sort of chatting off and on IG to him. And that is when I saw your interview with Kelly, and I put her forward to the guy to say, because she was looking for work at the time, and she got the part. And then basically I sort of kept talking to him, and he offered me a part in the film because he said he loved my YouTube channel and he wanted an influencer, a madcap influencer in there. So he said I fit the bill.
So basically, in this movie, you're going to pretty much play a version of yourself, then, right?
Yeah.
Okay, fine. Okay. Okay. Now, so that's your first movie. What was it like when you did go on the set for the first time?
I'll be honest with you, I didn't go on set. I filmed it all at home.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah.
I've seen that. I've seen those movies done before. That can actually be a little bit. That can actually be a little bit difficult because you have no direction really. You don't have any notes
No.
or anything. You're just, you're just by the wire.
I got a very, very rough outline of what I was supposed to be saying. And then he said, just roll with it and just make it up as you go along and just be zany and be loud and obnoxious. And I said, I can do that quite easily. Don't you worry. But yeah, and that was it. Then I did 2 versions of it. One where I was quite loud, and then I did another one where I was calmer, and sent him both to the guy. And he said he loved the first one, and that's the one he's going to be using. And that was it. The rest is history. And that film's coming out in spring.
Now I know that over here you probably heard about us over here in the United States. It seems to be a lot of our shops that carry physical media are going away. Is it the same thing going over in the UK as well? Because I heard that there's actually now I know for sure 2 shops now that are open that are selling VHS tapes. Are you going to be releasing both the films, Rick? Your first one, and Chris, your film. Are they both going to be out on physical media after their in theater run? And how many theaters are you going to be able to run this movie at?
Do you answer yours first, Rick?
Right. The first film is going to be on Amazon Prime streaming. And I will let Chris answer about the release for this film.
Yeah. Okay. So premieres at the Quad in Derby, which is like a 250-seater theatre, which is cool. Physical media, we're going to release a VHS of it, definitely, and DVD. Well, you can see that. That's the covers. That's an early version of the cover. It's changed slightly, and that's the other DVD cover. You can see it. I'm Blu-ray as well, so that's going to come out. I'm a big fan of physical media, and it's going to go down the patch soon, which is a bit worrying because you've got films unfortunately, like Ricky's film that is in his first film. In 10 years' time, if that gets pulled from Amazon, it vanishes off the face of the earth.
Yeah,
it's a bit like the Willow TV series was shit, but it's you can't get it anymore. It's gone. So physical media, to me, it's like a bit in the Christopher Nolan camp on that, where there should still be physical media, and I think it'll make people will regret it 100% in 20 years time. It's a bit like the vinyl thing. They'll go, shit, I missed the DVD, or you can't get it now because you've got to watch what Netflix or Disney Plus or whatever say, and it's scary that all the great DVDs as well, the extras have all gone, and that's another annoying thing. I mean, ours is going to be vanilla to start off with, but we're going to try and bulk it out. Again, that's a cost thing because the BBFC charge £15 a minute, and they have to grade everything now, which is director's commentary. Any extras you put on there, £15 a minute. So that's tough. But yeah, physical media wise, definitely releasing ours on physical media, but it is dying. I think it's only Asda, would you say, Rick, and HMV?
Yeah, I mean, I was talking the other day to a mate of mine. You go into Asda now, they've got like a little rack.
Yeah.
It used to be Asda near me, whole back corner.
Yeah.
The DVDs, VHS, Blu-ray. Now it's a rack, and you just think, oh God. But you've got HMV, which is like the last hope now, because you used to have our price, Virgin, you had everything. Now it's just HMV. That's it if you want to get physical media.
And the charity,
it's all secondhand stuff, isn't it?
Right. Yeah. And I was gonna say the charity shops as well. Man, that sucks. Well, thank you for putting it out on physical media, so the rest of us can buy a copy. Let's see. Big Kahuna Derby mentions, is the Indiegogo page still open for people to purchase merch and props?
No, sorry.
No.
You can. It basically, we'll be doing a page. You can buy T-shirts and from our page, a Big Cartel page, and the DVDs will be on after the premiere. They'll be on there as well. So we're selling them as a premiere edition at the premiere, and then selling them extra after that on the website and in the shop as well, in the 80s video shop. So As far as stores go, it's pretty much a waste of time because, as Rick just explained, there's just no one stocks things anymore.
So you'll have to you'll be selling yours strictly through the website, through word of
and
mouth.
shop. Yeah, I mean, we could go down the other route. I mean, we've been asked to look at certain deals as regards that. Someone who will put it on the streaming sites and put it in physical media for us. So I've got to wait to see what the deal is with that first before I do anything with it, because I'm not going to agree to anything that's not worth it. And I know streaming sites help a lot and get a lot of eyes on it, but I'm not going to do it if we're going to get peanuts for it. I'd rather just have it on I'd rather have it a little bit of an undergrounder and people talk about it. I miss the old word of mouth thing, and then they go, "Have you got that?" No, and I need to find it, and that's what I want to look at. But if we can get it on the streaming sites as well as physical media, but my main aim for this one, because it's a throwback film, is physical media.
Wow. I'm going to turn over to the hi, Katie. How are you?
Katie,
Coffee is life. Coffee is life. Yes, it is. See, I think there's a couple more questions up here. You see, I think Echo dropped the trailer, so we can watch the trailer. We can watch the trailer. I think Echo dropped the trailer there. So, in fact, what I will do is I will actually come up and I might come up here and put that on the top here. See, there. I'll pin that message up there so people, when they come in for the replay, they can go see the trailer. You'll be putting a new trailer next week coming out. So how can people outside of the UK, how will they be able to buy merch and the movie? If they is there any websites or any links that we need to put in your social media?
I can send you the link. Social media is there's a One Night Rental Facebook page and Instagram page. Facebook's probably best if you want to message, because that I'm in charge of that, so I can get back to you pretty much straight away. As far as physical media to the US, that'll have to be it'll definitely be happening, but it'll be later down, or we'll send like people like yourself a link to watch it. But I'd rather send you a physical copy of it, because we can obviously just transfer it to NTSC, because it's obviously that's as I said, as PAL. So that's just a quick transfer. It's quite easy. So I will do a few for USA. It depends on say demand, I suppose. Yeah, it's definitely worth getting out there.
Definitely. And I'm getting a new Blu-ray player, which is going to be universal. It's going to be
cool. Right.
Yeah,
a lot of Blu-rays are universal now, aren't they? A lot of come out.
My Blu-ray player actually it timed itself out. It can't handle the new Blu-rays. It says it can't play Blu-ray. Yeah, it's weird. I can still play DVDs, but I can't play Blu-rays anymore. So I'm in the market for a used one. Do we have any last questions for our guests? Rick, when you mentioned to me earlier when we were talking, you and I talk every night. But when you said you're going to get your YouTube channel back up and running?
Yeah.
Is that going to be you, or is it going to be Pablo, or is it going to be some?
Pablo is coming back. There you go. He is back. He's coming to the cinema to see the film as well. So
that's right. He's been gone for the last couple of years because he is building his house. So yeah,
he's still doing it.
Really. That'll be some old AF reviewers shenanigans right there for sure. Wow. So anybody who I put down everybody's social media as best I can. I'll put any links that you guys want me to put down. Just let me know, and I will put them down below. You guys can all sub to old AF reviewers, also on Instagram as well. A lot of fun content. Chris, I have to get your information so I can go ahead and put that down as well. And see if I have any questions here. Thank you guys so much for coming out here on a Sunday night to do this. I really do appreciate it. I mean, I know it's right before the start of the work week, so I do appreciate it. Let's see. When are we gonna get the buddy comedy movie with Ricky and Gareth?
That'd be amazing.
I don't know. I don't know. I don't speak Welsh, so.
Oh my gosh! Yes, we need one of those buddy cop movies, with Gareth and Rick. Maybe
Gareth would have to be the old decrepit one. I'll be like Mel Gibson. He'd be like Danny Glover.
Right. You guys could be chasing down. Voss and Sophie. Something like that. I can actually see you guys doing stuff so fun like that. All right. Thank you guys so much. I'm gonna go ahead and wrap this up. I want to thank you, Chris and Rick. Thank you so much for coming out here and hanging out with us. I had so much fun, as we always do. Rick, I'm really proud to sit there and say I am talking to a working actor. Not just my friend and a friend of the show, but you actually are a working actor, and congratulations to you for doing it.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
And I look forward to talking to you after your next film, as with you, Chris. And hopefully we will get the lovely Danny Thompson in here in March for a follow-up interview, and I'm sure she has some stories to tell as well. And I will put the link to the interview with both Rick and Danny. I'll put that both down below. If you haven't seen those two interviews, you need to do that. To the chat, thank you guys so much for coming out here and supporting Chris and Rick. I really do appreciate that. You guys are really engaging. And if you haven't subbed to either my channel or Rick's channel, please do that as well. You can sub to my channel here on Have Cheetah Will View, and you can also sub to Rick's channel, OAF Reviewers. Please do so if you haven't already. And I guess I should tell what's coming on next week. Hold on. All right. Next Tuesday, we will be talking to Kate Estrella. That will be at 8:00 here on 8 Questions With. On the 7th, we have Brandon Crum will be here with us on the 7th. On the 8th, we have the lovely Morrigan. Malin will be here. She was here once before. She's a lovely lady. A lot of fun, had a great time, and she's going to come back and hang out with us on her birthday. On the 9th, we joined by the Mighty Hobbs Horror, and he and I will be interviewing Corin Nemec on the 9th of February, and can't wait for that. Me and Hobbs, once again, causing havoc everywhere we go. All right, that's it for us. You two guys stay right where you're at. And to the chat, I'm going to say good night. Thank you so much, and we will see you Tuesday at 8 p.m.
See you later, guys.